Okay, thank you guys for coming today. We're going to talk about goals, which is one of my favorite things. But there's a lot of work that kind of needs to be done before we get to the goal setting. And I know we've been talking about like the visions and the vision boards, and hopefully you've all created your vision board now. Has everyone done it? Has anyone not? Okay, Barb, I saw a hand. Okay, so I want to talk about why that part of the puzzle is important. We're going to kind of talk about that a little bit first before we really jump into the nitty-gritty of goal setting. So one of the things with every time you set a goal, and hopefully you're doing this every month, it's something I want us to get into the habit of doing monthly, is it's going to create some emotions in you. Likely it's possible that you're going to feel either fear or shame, because it's possible that this goal you're setting this month, this might be the 20th month you've set this goal. You might be thinking, I'm saying this every month and it's never actually happening. Or maybe you feel fearful because maybe this is your first time setting this goal and it feels very scary. And so these type of emotions are normal. We're human. Like, this is standard to kind of feel this way when you start setting these goals. And so our typical reaction as we go through and we're trying to work through our goals is to push through with our own strength. We think, I'm going to use my own willpower and I'm going to dig real deep and I'm going to work real hard and I'm going to make this happen this month. And that's typically how we do things. And it can work. Like, there have been months I've knocked out some massive goals by pure willpower. But as soon as that clock hits at 11 o'clock, I am dead. I am wiped out. I am thinking I am taking the next week off. Like, I cannot continue to go at this pace. And so the problem is, when we're digging with willpower, it runs out eventually, and it creates burnout. And so we see this cycle happen of being all in and all out, and all in and all out. And it's just human nature that we tend to kind of go through these cycles of pushing really hard and then pulling back for rest. And so what I want us to try to find instead is that steady stream where we can stay consistent with our work. But in order to do that, we need a why. We need to know why we're doing what we're doing. And that is really why this vision board is important to me, and why I feel like it is valuable, because it gives us a why to look at every day when we're doing just the mundane work. When we're doing our IPAs, when we're going through a checklist and we're doing the things that we may feel like aren't making the progress as fast as we want to make it, remembering why we're doing it is so important to prevent that burnout from happening. Also, an important piece of the puzzle is to have the systems in place, to have those habits that we're doing daily so that our work can become steady and not like all extreme on the last day of the month, or all extreme for 1 month and then a month off. Those habits and those systems need to be in place to stop that burnout. So all three pieces, so the goals fall in the middle. All three are important. If we just have dreams and goals, we're going to have burnout. If we just have goals and systems but no vision, you're going to have burnout. Like, you need the vision, you need the dreams, you need the why, and you need to remember it, and you need to have it somewhere plastered so you can constantly remember why you're doing what you're doing. And this why of yours is going to evolve. It's going to change. The why I had when I first started, I fulfilled. And so my why is something I have to keep revisiting. My visions, my dreams, my why, however you want to look at that. It's all kind of the same thing, right? And so you need that to be changing and updated. If you have not updated it, that's our point of our vision board. So make sure you have that in place first. Then we're going to set our goals, and then we're going to have our systems next week that in place. And once we get all three in place, hopefully this will stop this all in, all out cycle that you may be recognizing in yourself or in your teammates or in just, it's human, right? I've done it. I think most of us have experienced this at some point along the way. If you haven't yet, that's fantastic. Maybe you've got the steady mastered. But that's kind of what my goal is for you guys, is to learn how to make this just a steady business and feel like a successful business person and like you're achieving something in life. And I know we talked about kind of last week that feeling of needing to feel like you're doing, like you're winning at your job, like you're good at what you're doing, like that. It is important to have that value in your career. So we're career women here, like this is our career and we need to own it as that. And so that's where we're going with this. And so goals. So our goals within our business, I kind of decided I want to make our Monday call every first of the month, just over our goals. I thought that would be a good place to start every month at the first of the month on our Monday morning call. We'll sit down, we'll talk about our goals for the month, we'll hash out how it's going to happen, and just kind of have a monthly, dreaming, planning session together. So I know we're a little late in January hitting our goal call, but that's okay. We had to kind of get this whole foundation laid out. So here we are, we have a little over a week left. So anything can still happen in January. But I want us to really think about, like, what are your goals that you have for yourself this month that are going to help you meet your visions that are hopefully posted right in front of your eyes as you're planning your goals. And again, if you haven't done your vision board yet, if you haven't listened to those calls, please go back and do that, because it really, I do think it's important for us to have a why and have dreams and have visions in order to not have that burnout. Sorry, my cat is meowing at me. And so goals. So let's think about, like, what do we want those goals to look like for our businesses? I think some important things for us to plan every month is, how many new VIPs do you want to add this month? I got my boots, but I want to earn one more pair. So I need 3 more to add. And so where do you want your points to end at the month? So I think that should be a goal that you have every month. But an important piece to that puzzle is you need to know the gap. What's that going to be? So if every month you're like, well, I don't know where I'm going to end till the 28th, it's important to know where your business is going to end. I have a forecasting tool that I use that I've created. I know I've shared it with a lot of y'all, but I'll share it again. If you don't have it, if you want to use it, I'm constantly updating it and kind of changing it. So it might be different from the last time I sent it over. I'm going to post that here in the chat, and you should just be able to download it from there. If you don't have Excel and you don't want to deal with Excel, that's okay. Most of us can just go in our back office and count up the subscriptions that are left to run. Just get out a piece of paper and a pen and just go through line by line and figure out how many points each one are going to give you that are left to run. It can take a little bit of time. It can be a little tedious depending on the size of your team, but it is important to have an idea of how many points are coming in. Because this is our businesses, like, we need to know what the income is that's supposed to be, so that we know what that gap is between our goal and between where we're going to end. Like, you should know that gap at all times throughout the month. You should never be surprised on the 28th when you wake up and look in your back office. It should not be a shocker. And you should have an idea of about how many are declining, because we're seeing that too. Like, you're going to know that not every subscription is going to process. So keep that into account. And that does take into account on the forecasting spreadsheet if you do want to dive into Excel. But once you know that, once you know your gap, so say I have a gap of 50 points I need to come up with. Now we're going to try to get into the nitty-gritty of these goals and figuring out, where are they coming from? Like, where are you going to, you're probably not going to add all 50 points personally. Maybe you want to go do that, but maybe not. Maybe you want to help, a new person go silver, or maybe you want to help somebody hit gold, or whatever that is. Like, I loved, like, the gold schools. Like, I get to go to Disneyland with Amanda next month. It's like just in a few weeks, because Gold School's in Anaheim, and she went senior gold. Gosh, we've waited almost a year to go to Gold School for this, but I'm excited that, so it's like, that's kind of a fun thing about adding a gold to your team, is now we have the things built in, like Gold School, that you can go to them with. So definitely make it a goal of yours to add a gold to your team at some point, and get to Gold School. I know Kelly qualified too, and she was hoping to go, but I think morning sickness is kind of kicking her butt right now. So, but it's fun. It's a fun thing to kind of do with your teams. And so that's another one of our goals that we're looking at. So another goal that I want us to start thinking about every month is how we're going to help our teammates. How many coaching calls do you have planned for the rest of this month? Do you have any coaching calls planned for the rest of this month? Is that something that's even on your radar? Have you been doing coaching calls with your teammates? I think these are important things that we need to start implementing with our with our active team that wants the business, get on the phone with them, get that relationship going, help talk them through their things. Because it's real easy when we start to let doubt seep in our business to just check out. Instead of checking in with our sponsor, we check out and we do nothing. So that's, as the sponsor, let's check in with our downline and walk them through these fears and these concerns that they have, so that they don't check out and we don't recognize it 3 months down the road when they send us a message and say, hey, I think I'm going to go to this other company. So let's keep coaching our people. So, and then another one is, how many teammates are you going to start inviting to this call on Mondays? Let's start packing this call and getting people involved in the other calls. Misty has her call tonight. Let's start getting people together. Like, this community is such a big part of how, we grew our business in the beginning, and how you want to keep that momentum going. Like, community is vital. So we need to get people on the calls. So when you're thinking about goals for the month, again, don't just think about like level ones, points, ranks. Those are always important, but let's also think about these other things, like who we're going to coach, who we're going to help reach the next goal, who we're going to get on calls, how many am I going to invite to the calls? So things like that. So these are kind of some of the things I want y'all to be thinking about as we walk through our goals. And again, there's only 8.5 days left this month, but a lot can be done in 8.5 days. So don't discredit that. I don't want it to feel like you're going to set a huge goal that you're really far from right now, so that you create the burnout at the end of January. We don't want that, but we definitely want to dig deep and work hard and make this a better month than we would had we not set goals. So that's kind of our goal, is make it better than it would if we did nothing. So let's go after that. So I want to kind of open this up now. I'm going to go ahead and, no, I'm going to keep the recording going, because I think it was fun for other people to kind of listen to our dreams and goals last week. So I want to kind of open this up and kind of talk through and see, have any of y'all started? Do you already have your January goals set? Some of you may have just set them 1st of January because it's habit. If you already have them set, I would love to hear it. If not, like, what are some of your goals, and what are some of your fears and shame? Is that something you struggle with? I know we talked about that in the very beginning. So anybody want to go first?
Okay, so my deal, like with coaching calls, and I think just even like how involved I am on my team page and inviting people to stuff is, 9 years in, and people are like, been there, done that, and they just don't do stuff now. So now it's always like looking for the new thing to entice people. And so that's where kind of my goals fall short, is because I get to this point where it's like they don't want to do that again. And so that's my struggle on my goal, meeting my goals when they come to like not related to numbers. Or
so why do you assume that people would not want to be part of that again?
Because I get turned down so many times.
Yeah. But I think it's good to remember that there are lots of people on our teams that enjoyed things in the past in Plexus. I think it's so easy for us to assume that everyone's just going to think of the negative things that they experience when they work their business, because there's negatives and positives in any business that we work, and I think it's easy for our place.
I try to refresh that thinking, that negative thinking, to it's the first of the year, and I don't know where everybody's mind isn't like, okay, it's time to get back in. So I try to keep that whenever I think, no, I'm not going to reach out to them because they said no before, and they never jumped on a call before, or they never wanted to participate in coaching calls. I try to flip that script and think, it's a new year.
Yeah, I think that's great. Anybody else have other thoughts on that or their goals?
Kind of in the same place. I'm like empty. I got nothing. I mean, I feel like I got nothing. November was one of those months where the last day of the month, it was just like, holy crap, are we gonna maintain this month? And then December, I don't even know how to just, I should feel proud of what happened in December, and I did initially. And now I'm dreading the last day of January. Now I'm dreading.
So it's that exact thing I was talking about earlier, though. When you're going off that willpower, like that's human nature to be like, I don't want to do that again. Like that wasn't fun. And when it is working off pure like hustle, you're gonna burn out. Like you're gonna burn out.
Well, it almost makes you feel, I feel gross almost, because I was making phone calls to people that haven't ordered in a while and just literally just saying, look, this is very selfish, but I'm going for a huge goal right now. And my goal for the end of, I'm screaming. I've got a giant piece of earth mover behind my house. Sounds like an earthquake in the background. But I was trying to earn the Mexico trip. And I knew that if I could just get that out of the way, I could focus this year on truly rebuilding my team, because we are in a rebuilding mode in a big way, and where I am. And that's literally what I was saying to people. Like, I'm trying to earn a huge trip, and it would help me and hopefully help you get back on track too. And then that's honestly, it's both. It really is. But I don't like making those phone calls.
Mm-hmm.
I hate that.
So Missy, what do you like? What brings you life in your work? What is something that you do that you enjoy, that you feel passionate about?
Education. I love educating. I love digging deep and coming up with ways that people can associate something really nerdy, like I can make it easy and use a real cool analogy that makes it easy for them to understand versus the 500 paragraph explanation for something.
So do you have any calls planned between now and the end of the month to educate your team on a product that maybe they'll go in and buy?
So every day on my personal page, on my personal timeline, I do a video. I do a Jesus calling devotional. I have a lot of people who love that, and I read the devotional for that day, and then I just kind of say what it spoke to me as, and then I follow it up with product information. And here's what happened. 2 people that use Plexus with somebody else that they're wanting me to coach them now, but they can't get off that team, and they don't want to get off that team, even though they don't have an active upline, because their friend got them started, and now they're wanting me to coach. And I'm like, they're my friend.
And that's okay. It's okay to say
that. I'm going to coach, and I'm going to do that, but
maybe you shouldn't. I mean, seriously, like, I think it's okay to like provide the information, send them to your other trainings, add them to your team page, but just say, if your well is empty, like it's okay to guard it. It's okay. Like, it's not being not one Plexus to not pour into every single person. And as you get higher up and as you're sharing more, like boundaries are important, and it's okay. Like, I'm going to give you permission to say no sometimes when something, especially when you feel like your well is run dry, or maybe just be like, I can't, just, have like some of that information saved up so that you are being helpful, but it's not taking from you to help,
Yeah, and I agree with that. Boundaries is a big issue for me. I don't want anyone to ever feel like they don't have support. And the problem is they don't, and I can't do that for everybody because it pulls away from me. Like, honestly, it kind of makes me mad. I mean, we're being real. It kind of makes me mad. Like, they knew I was doing this. They joined with someone else knowing that this was, and now they're coming to me because that someone else is no longer involved. And so I'm like, well, but that's what I loved. I love the education side of it. And I have had people come back and order that product that I've talked about.
Yeah. So maybe like when you're thinking about goals, find a way like to implement that education somewhere. Like, maybe you're going to come up with just a training vault videos. So maybe you can create 2 or 3 videos and put it in a vault somewhere, or, maybe just something. But I think it's important, like when we're goal setting too, like to think about like, what do I do in my work that brings me joy? where is that passion and where is that fire? Like, is it on the education side? Is it on the number side? Is it on the, where is it at? Is it the community? So, it's going to be different for everybody, but
And I have a
make
bunch.
sure, yeah, well, good.
I have a bunch of those. One of my most exciting moments in my business was when I had, and I talk about this way too much probably, but I don't care. I had 4 girls go gold within 2 hours of each other. To me, that was more exciting than me hitting emerald the next day.
Yeah.
I hit
Those
emerald the
are
next
fun for
day,
me.
but that 4 people going gold, like I can't top that. Like I can't top it. All right now I can't. And I want to get back to that place because I
Yeah.
feel like I've lost that. I really do. I feel like my team has lost that. And it's
Yeah.
just, it's.
So focus January on what is fulfilling, and let it be okay to maybe miss a bigger goal. Like sometimes it's okay to not reach to maintain your rank. Sometimes it's okay. Sometimes we lose ranks, and it hurts and it's hard. But,
Yeah.
if financially you can budget it in to miss it, let it be okay to happen, because we want to prevent the long-term burnout. We want to prevent that from happening. So just know that, like, it doesn't make you any less worthy. Like, you are still an incredible leader. You are still an Emerald ambassador. Like, it happens.
But I don't feel like it right now. That's where I'm at right now. And I know this is negative and I hate to be negative, but it's real. This is how I feel right now.
Yeah,
I think Tammy feels the same thing because I just heard it in her voice.
yeah, and I think it's good to talk through this and coach through this. And maybe we should get a one-on-one coaching call to kind of elaborate deeper into it. But I do think it is important to acknowledge, that, like, you are still an Emerald ambassador. You are still worthy of your rank. Like, you have earned it. I don't care how many times you've earned it. I don't care how many times you've lost it. If that is the rank that it says on your name on the website, that is your rank. And you should proudly carry that. Like, where your points are at in your back office this month, they do not matter. Like, they are not part of your self-worth. Like, our goals are not our self-worth. They just bring in our income. Those points matter to your paycheck, but that's all it is. It's literally all it is. It is not who you are. And so we need to make sure when we're working on our goals. And again, I think this is why we need the whys and the dreams and the vision, but we also need the systems to help make it happen, and so it's an emotional, it can be an emotional industry, it can be tough because there's no other, when you're at other jobs, like, your pay is not necessarily based on your performance that month. And my title doesn't change in my job. I was a senior data analyst. It wasn't like, because if I didn't analyze enough numbers, I would become a junior data analyst or something. It was like, you are what you are, and so I think that's what adds the emotional aspect to us in this industry, is because we see that rank change on our holding rank in our back office, or we see that paycheck drop and we think, oh my gosh, I'm not that anymore, but you are. And it's, I know it's a struggle, but we got to figure it out. Oh yeah, go ahead.
I think one thing about doing this vision board, it really took me back to the place. And here's another thing for me, like, hitting emerald was almost a negative thing to me, because for so many years before that, that was my ultimate goal. And so once I hit it, it was like, I did it. And then I didn't see further. I never saw past that. And so falling back so far and having to redo this, it's almost got me back to that place of mental hustle, where it's like, and creativity too. I think it really kind of instilled because I'm not gonna lie, that I feel like there's a lot of creativity to network marketing, because you have to be thinking out of the box. You have to be doing all these different things other than just, the numbers and posting and stuff and, leading. But I've got back to that place of how am I going to make this happen? And so that's been kind of exciting.
Good. I love that.
I have to jump off. I just had my furniture delivery people are coming to the rodeo, and I'm so sorry. I just you're going to keep recording it, right?
Yes.
Okay, because I need to go back and watch it. So thank y'all for listening to me whine.
Have a good day.
Bye, y'all.
Does anybody else want to share like their goals or their fears or shame or struggles?
I will. So I have gotten into a pretty good habit of making monthly point goals. And I do, like you said, I just go through and manually count them because I have such a teeny tiny team. But I think that helps me to see, to count the points and all that, see exactly what I need. I have literally one person under me who's even adding people here or there. But I do have a couple of new people who are pretty exciting. My first that started with Reset and Triplex, and they are like the tip of the iceberg for the number of people I have had lately. I don't know if y'all sharing this or not, but people coming to me because they've been on this eating program where they send food to your house, and they gained all their weight back, and they were spending $500 a month.
Is that
And now they
Octavia?
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
And now they understand true gut health and how important it is. And looking at, so you were talking to Misty about what fires her up in her business, and she's amazing. Oh, Misty, Tammy, Nikki, you're the only ones I really know, but y'all all so inspiring to me. And so Misty is a wealth of information, and I love listening to her. She's so down to earth. But what I found in the last couple of days helping these two new people is they're coming to me asking me about nutrition, because with this other program, they didn't look at labels. And so everything to them is, Tammy will, she'll be like, they're all going to, well, this is 80 calories. Is that okay? I'm like, stop with the calories. Like, where's the protein? What's the ingredient list? Is sugar listed in there? Like, all of those kinds of things. They were not taught that. And so they didn't realize that consuming aspartame and sucralose and all of that was only contributing to their leaky gut, which is making, it hard for them to lose weight. So to me, that's inspiring and exciting. Even though my points may not be where they were last month, I've got these two people. One is a hairstylist. So people will see her. She's successful. When they come back for their appointment, they go, what have you been doing? And so those are the little glimmers that keep me inspired. But and you can ask Debbie this, I like to be I'm just kind of just go easy. I don't push real hard and, try to get people to place orders if they don't want to place orders. I just like to keep it an even keel. That just makes my life better. That's my personality. So anyway, I don't know. I don't have a lot to contribute to all that, but I am going to make a vision board. I just haven't done it yet. So I'm going to do that. And I'm just gonna, keeping track of the points that I have and know where I need to be is very useful for me.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing. Anybody else? Amanda, do you want to go? I see you.
I knew you were going to pick on me. So, okay, so a couple things. So in Super Saturday, Jean Tips was talking about being brilliant at the basics. And I really think that all of us, that's where we have to like go back to the basics and build from there, because I also was telling myself stories like no one's listening, I'm posting all these things and stuff. But even what Barbara just shared is like, yes, they are listening. The education is needed. And even if somebody is doing Optavia or whatever they're doing, the gut health applies to so much more than just weight loss anyway. So people can use Plexus alongside of whatever program that they feel confident in. But that's really what it is just getting back to the basics of really consistently giving out the information and serving and serving and serving. Because I find, although I love, like I am a goal setter, I love doing all of that. But where I fall short is staying consistent with all of the basic stuff. So I can set these big audacious goals, but if I'm not doing, so two things that I falter on is that I'm not staying consistent with my posting. And so I'm working on getting back into that. And then the other piece that I'm faltering in is in my leadership. And so that's really where I'm trying to to gain building systems so that I can plug people in, because I was spending so much time, and it's not that I don't mind being on the phone and helping people, but if I can plug them into a system as well so they can start coaching themselves, then I mean, that's for learning from you guys. That's where the growth happens. It's not, yes, I can keep recruiting people until I'm blue in the face, but if I don't have anybody else that wants to grow, then I'm pretty much going to stay where I'm at. And so so that's kind of where I'm at. But my big goals for this year is I am on my way to Ruby. Like I'm all in. I want to try to hit Ruby's on the Rise, which is like what, in July? No, not July. I don't know. It's like fast. I have to like earn it by the end of March. So like it's a crazy goal, but I'm going for it. And so what I'm trying to tell myself is, although I've only enrolled one person this month. That's it. But my smaller goal is to always hit whatever incentive it is. So earn 2 pairs of boots. Well, actually I don't need the boots, but I'm going to do the cash incentive, but that's irrelevant. But to do that and really work on like helping the people under me at least get their products paid for. And so I'm really setting that pattern. I'm setting up systems right now so that I can plug people in. And going in with what Misty was saying, there's so many other resources that are out there, like that are available for free. Like Emily Roberts has a whole thing on her YouTube page of like plugging in silvers. And so I was going to say to Misty, like, why not plug them into what somebody else has already developed, especially if they're not on your team, you know, like that way she's serving, but she's not taxing herself more with yeah. So anyways, I'm rambling, but that's where I'm at.
Yay. Well, thank y'all for sharing. I know we went a little bit over today, but I think it's good. I think this is good conversation to have. So our goal deadline, what is it? I think it's Wednesday that I had for y'all. What I want to know is your goals for January. So all I want to know right now is January goals. And again, let's think about personal recruitment points, and think about like how we're going to like leadership skills, like who are you going to start, how many are you going to take on to start coaching? You know, maybe you only have one person you want to really take under your wing and start coaching, but maybe you have 3 or 4 people. So, you know, kind of think about those things and think about ways you're going to start helping, you know, with your leadership skills and with your coaching your teams. And maybe there's some other things outside of the box that I haven't thought of that they are in with regard with your business. So kind of think of some other things that might be different. You know, thinking about the motivations of what fuels your fire the most in the business. Like, what work do you enjoy doing the most? Like, how can you implement that into a goal for January? So that is our January goal. I'll make a post on the team page. Let me just double check. I do think it was Wednesday. Let me look real quick if y'all will be patient with me. I know I just posted it, or it's on the team page here. Media. It is, goals are due on the 25th. So yes, that is Wednesday. That is my arbitrary due date. That is has no real meaning. And there's no prize for it except for, you know, internal motivation. So hopefully we'll see y'all's goals and y'all will think a little bit more on it. And thank y'all for coming. Y'all have a great day.